But it does just show that the king really had no choice into stripping him of his titles, because they knew probably more was going to come out, and they felt they just couldn't have him still seen to be a fully sort of a member of the royal family. Now he is just a private citizen, and as I say, the Americans haven't wasted much time in demanding he talk to them.
It's quite a story, this. A US Congressional Committee writing to Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, as he now is, asking him to turn up and give evidence on Jeffrey Epstein. What do you think, Rupert? I mean, he's damned if he goes and damned if he doesn't, which is, what's he going to do?
Well, this is the problem for him. And I mean, when you read that letter, dear Mr. Mountbatten Windsor, it suddenly comes home to roost exactly what the king did last week in stripping him of his titles and everything. And obviously now the letters patent have confirmed that. They haven't wasted much time in suggesting that they need Andrew Mountbatten Windsor to answer questions all surrounding the Jeffrey Epstein case and all the allegations that are out there, because, as they say in the letter, he may be fully aware of what's going on, and he's a person of interest.
Yeah.
And he's got till November the 20th, but it does just show that the king really had no choice into stripping him of his titles, because they knew probably more was going to come out, and they felt they just couldn't have him still seen to be a fully sort of a member of the royal family. Now he is just a private citizen, and as I say, the Americans haven't wasted much time in demanding he talk to them.
And do you think this summons, if we can call it that, because a foreigner does not have to do as the committee asks, but do you imagine they would have put out this letter to Andrew Mountbatten Windsor if he had still been a prince of the royal family?
I think that it does feel like, if you look at the timing of it, it does just feel like that they wouldn't have done it before. But now they feel that, I suppose in many ways, the gloves are off, because now he's just a private citizen. He can't hide behind the sort of the comfort of the royal family, as he's now just Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. And so they feel that he has something to answer for. So it does feel as if the fact that he is no longer a prince and all that goes with that, it does feel as if they've used the first available opportunity to send a letter and get him to talk. And it just shows for the royal family, this Andrew problem will not go away. And as you think this week, there's supposed to be good headlines for Prince William doing his Earthshot work. Once again, the Andrew story has completely superseded that and is the dominant aspect of it. And now it's a new level with the fact that the American House of Representatives, I think it is, want him to speak and to give his version of events.
And that pressure, it can only increase, Rupert, can't it? Because the House of Representatives are just one vote short now of demanding, as a House, that the Epstein files be published. Now, that isn't the same as getting them published, because there'd be more to go through before that happens, but it will add to the pressure.
Yes, and they've got the pressures, and, it goes to the very top. President Trump, what does he know? He's always denied every allegations and his friendship, but this is the problem. It's not just about Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, who you might say is almost the low-hanging fruit here, because it might go up, and there may be many more people within American society who are sweating on what is going on at the moment. So for Andrew, it's a further problem for him. He will have to reply one way or another, even if he says, no, I'm not going to. But then that doesn't help his cause. So he is, as you quite rightly say, caught between a rock and a hard place. But actually, if he wants to try and get himself out of this situation, perhaps he now has to sort of face the music and say, well, what do I know? Can I help and sort this out once and for all? Remember, he's always denied every single allegation that has been levied against him.
Quite a story. Rupert Bell, thank you. The news breaking. Andrew summoned to Congress. That's really quite a story, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's huge. And obviously, just off the back of the palace announcing that they have officially taken that process forward to take off Prince and HRH as well. But, it'll be really interesting to see what the Congress summons? Does he do we know? Does he have to appear?
He doesn't have to.
So that's the problem, isn't it? And so far he has resisted all other attempts to go and contribute and help out and give his side of it.
How does it look from the other side of the ocean? David Charter's now on the line, the Times US editor. David, welcome.
Good afternoon from Washington, D.C.
Great to have you here, David. So obviously this story has made waves here, as you would expect. How big is it there?
Yeah, it's just beginning to get a bit of pickup here, because obviously there was quite a lot of coverage of Andrew being stripped of his royal titles just a week ago, and the royal family continues to have an enormous draw for American eyeballs reading the news. I don't know, as already been said, I don't know where it's going to go, because it's not even a subpoena, like a legal attempt to bring him before the committee, which is investigating Jeffrey Epstein rather slowly. It is a request to put pressure on Andrew, maybe also to show other potential witnesses that they mean business. But anyone living overseas, any foreigner, I should say, living overseas, cannot be compelled to give evidence to an American congressional committee.
I mean, he's damned if he goes and damned if he doesn't. Adam, what do you reckon?
Well, I don't think he's going to go, and I think I would advise him not to go. The only reason for him to go would be if he feels that he could repeat his performance on Newsnight, which he apparently thought was a triumph, and to simply use it as a public platform to deny everything.
Yes.
Problem with that, of course, is that the king has basically said, notwithstanding his denials, that basically he's taken actions which suggests that he doesn't believe him. So he would be going from a weaker position than he was when he faced Emily Maitlis, when he faced this committee. Although I think it's important to recognise that basically what this committee wants is to throw dirt in Donald Trump's direction. And I don't know whether there are any suggestions that Prince Andrew coincided in his friendship with Donald Trump and Donald Trump's behaviour.
Yeah. David, I mean, this committee, the Committee on Oversight and Government Reform in the House of Representatives, I mean, if it were to turn out that Andrew ended up in front of them, and you've got to be deeply, deeply sceptical about that happening, if that happens, there's no limit to what they can ask, is there? They will go in all sorts of directions, and these are American national politicians who are pretty well versed in using the spotlight when they get it.
Absolutely. I mean, I can see a world, I suppose, where Andrew and his advisors want to make an attempt at rehabilitation. And this would be, of course, one step that he could take, would be to give evidence on camera for like a video link from wherever he is in the UK, Sandringham, I suppose, or he could actually write a letter and set out and say, this is the extent of what I know. And from a PR point of view, writing a letter might be a very good idea, because it would perhaps do a little bit to enhance his image, but would also then prevent what you're talking about, which is having to appear in front of a group of perhaps publicity-hungry members of Congress themselves, trying to make a name for themselves by asking tricky questions.
I mean, I would just point out that it is exactly what the families of the victims want, that Prince Andrew should cooperate, should go and give. He'd be the most high-profile person to essentially give any information on Jeffrey Epstein and what happened. And I think, even as David says, if members of Congress use it to their own political advantage, that still wouldn't take away from the fact that victims' families would absolutely welcome it. And there will be that pressure, but I think Adam's right that it's sort of very, very, the chance of him doing it is so small that it would be pretty extraordinary.
I suppose they could offer him an absolutely massive appearance fee. And in that case, he might go.
Yeah, I mean, and where you are in Washington, this story is going to be picking up momentum, not dropping it. David, isn't it? I mean, in the House of Representatives, they're one vote short now of what they need to pass a motion to get the Epstein papers fully published, which I know that doesn't mean that they necessarily will be, because it's got to go, there's the Senate still and all sorts of other things. But again, you can see the momentum there. And this Arizona new Congresswoman, Adelita Grijalva, when she gets in, and that'll happen right after the shutdown ends, which can't be that far off, well, then the votes are going to be there.
We think it will happen after the shutdown ends. That's been the reason or excuse, depending on your point of view, given by the Republican Speaker of the House for not swearing her in. The House isn't sitting. It hasn't prevented a couple of Republicans being sworn in the past. But as you say, this new Congresswoman who's been elected to a vacant seat, in fact, her father died, and she's been elected in the seat in Arizona, would be the tipping point. She's made it very clear she would join the majority and make a majority in demanding, and this would be a legal requirement, that the government publish what they've got on Epstein.